Yes. Can you share a couple of memories, or at least just one memory? Okay. But I will
Said,
certainly. Yes, Safwan.
said the he cried because he had lost the wooden cloth that his father had made for him, and that when he made the second one, it was quite different from the first one, and he still remembers that.
language.
Yes, he remembers about the plow, and he also remembers when his father and mother, uh, cultivated the land, they burned the bush, and things like that. Okay. Okay, fine. So let's write a couple of them. And the first one is that of the plow. The son had some of the wonderful memories from his, of course, childhood, one of which was that he loved a little plow, plow toy, in fact, which he lost in a furrow. His father, in order to console him, made a new plow for him, but he loved more the first one. That can be one of his memories. Okay. Okay, this is one of the prominent memory, and there is another that he used to come with his parents, and he would help in thinning the comb. Okay, he loved, he loved. Okay, second, secondly, he would come to come to the farm to help his parents in the corn, right? To thin corn, not dark corn, okay, to thin corn, okay. That can be another memory, okay. And now we have next question. Just go ahead. Question 4. Write the story in your own words. That would be done by you yourself. Okay, you will write the story. I've already taught you what moral lesson does the story teach. So this is something we can discuss. It's not something we should write. Let's explore a couple of moral lessons this story has for us. Okay. Yes. Now I have noticed Safwan he's proactive, he takes a lot of interest in lessons. And some of you, maybe you have some technical or mic problem, and you're not as active as you should be. I think there's hardly any difference whether the class is physical or virtual. Behind computers, physically, we are present, And it's not automation. I think we should be more active, slightly more active, so that we interact. Sometimes it feels like that I'm teaching computer and not people. Okay. Uzair, what will you say? What lesson we can derive from the story Clearing in the Sky?
Sir, we get a lesson that it doesn't matter if we are physically weak. We need to be mentally prepared and strong for to face any situation. And uh, with our determination and you can say potential, we can overcome those situations which are uh, which we think that we can't do.
Yeah, and if you read history, if you see people, you will figure out many people they were physically handicapped or they were sick, but at the same time they did wonders and they led their lives, intellectual life or whatever capacity they could lead their life. They did it in a wonderful way. I think it is a very optimistic view of life that yes, there is deprivation, sometimes health deprivation, sometimes person is poor, but whatever factors can cause a hindrance, they overcome those factors with their determination, and of course with the help of God, they go on and they accomplish their goals. Let me tell you, once I read in the newspaper the story of a blind person whose ambition of his life was to build a car. Uh, let me make it clear, his ambition was not exactly to engineer a car, but to assemble a car to a certain extent. And at the age of almost 60, he when he was blind, he shared his ambition with his wife and some of his colleagues, friends. And then different parts of different motors came as gifts. And he would tell his wife, maybe he had some initial experience of, technical experience. And finally, he built a wonderful car and he was very happy. Though he was blind, but his wife assisted him a lot in assembly and he completed the job. Okay, so we can derive a lesson, and the lesson, a moral lesson from the story Clearing in the Sky is that no matter how hard circumstances are, one can go on in life. One can overcome a difficult situation if one perseveres. Okay. So remember my words, perseveres. Okay. Perseverance is something that you keep on working hard in a certain direction. Okay. Now, the part of grammar which is very important, and I have jotted down something for you which I would like to share with you. Let's go back to paint. And today I will finish the topic I started in my last lecture, that is colon, and let's quickly do it now here. Okay. And colon is something which you write when you put two dots. And the first and the next rule, I have told you a couple of rules. I would not spend time on revising those rules. What exactly I say? I'm going to give you, a very straightforward rule to understand colon, and that rule will help you use it in a more comfortable way. Now, what the rule says? The rule is a very general and very popular rule. Colon is used after a sentence. That makes some sense, but it also arouses certain ambiguities. Let's do a couple of examples and see how they work here. Okay, let's take Reading now and write a couple of examples now. Uh, my first example reads, I have bought many gifts for you. Now here, this is a complete sentence, and after that I'm going to put a colon, and then maybe I'm talking to my daughter, dolls, uh, a ball, and a bat. Okay. So this is the first example you see here. Let me dissect this sentence with another color. Okay. Maybe yellow will stand out here. Okay. If we underline things with yellow color, and here you see I have bought many gifts for you. If you just stay here, okay, up till here, okay, up till here, okay. Paint keeps playing with you, it's very difficult to draw a straight line, but I did it. That's great job. I have bought many gifts for you. So this is a complete sentence. Let me write it here that it's a complete sentence with red, of course. A complete sentence. Complete, L-E-T-E, complete. Not bad at all. Complete and S for the sentence, okay. Not a complete sentence, okay. It's a complete sentence, and after that we have, let me underline it here again. We have dolls, we have a ball, and we have different other things, okay. Now, all these other things, these basically are the explanation of what I have written here in the first phase. So the rule says that after a complete sentence, you can write colon. And there will be a question in your minds, why to use a colon then after a complete sentence? Why? Because this is not, this part, let me draw, I think so. Let me bracket it. It would be a good idea to put a bracket around it. This part is not a sentence at all. Okay, this part is not a sentence, but this first part is. And of course, what exactly you do in the first part, you give an idea and you explain that idea in your next part. Okay, for how many of you it makes sense? Does it make sense? Does it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Yes, sir.
for your quick
Yes, sir.
response. And my second example, uh, they can produce different articles. Okay, they can produce different different articles. Articles mean things. Colon, cardboards, boards, masking tapes, and colors. And let me write this sentence in a different way, and then we can analyze what is exactly the difference. Okay. What about this color? Uh, okay. They can produce different articles. And now I will use this idea in a different way. They, they produce Let me correct this first one. They produce different articles. They produce cardboards, masking tapes, and colors, and full stop. They produce cardboards, masking tapes, and colors. Now, if you analyze these two sentences, you will exactly understand that the idea in sentence one and in two ideas here, okay? Uh, Here, yes, this one. The idea here in the first sentence and the idea in the second sentence, they are same. So I can simply say, if I want to write it, I will use semantics S for semantics. Semantics means idea here, that this one, its semantics is something S1, and here semantics is S2. S2. And what exactly I want to tell you? I want to tell you that S1 equals equals S2. S1 equals S2. But here we have derived a rule. Please stay with me for 1 to 2 more minutes so that I may make sense out of the two examples which I have written here. They produce different articles, and then there is this smart colon I which is the subject of discussion. They produce different articles than colon, cardboards, masking tapes, and colors. And in the second example, they produce cardboards, masking tapes, and colors. Okay. And then where to use a colon and where not to use a colon. Now here, if you see in the second example, they produce cardboards. Right? They produce, and after they produce, if I put a colon here, that will be wrong if I do it. If I put a colon here, so this sentence will be wrong. Okay, so I can't do it. But I have put a colon here and I say it's a correct sentence. We can say that it is a correct sentence. What's the difference? The difference is that this is a complete idea first, and after a complete idea, the explanatory part comes here: cardboards, masking tapes, and colors. On the other hand, in the second sentence, there is a verb. There is a verb, main verb, and after the main verb, you cannot put a colon. You will have to put the objects, and these are all objects. These are all objects. This snaky line, okay, these are all objects. And here, when you write a verb in a sentence, and then you don't put a colon there, you put the objects directly. But if you write a complete sentence, then you put a colon, and after that you can write the explanatory part. I hope it makes sense. Take care of yourself. That's all for today. Meet you on another day in another lesson. And till then, take care of yourself.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Love
Thank you,
is
sir.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Okay, Abdullah, I will of course give you time and I will show you the questions. And rest of you, Allah Hafiz. Abdullah, once you are done, please let me know. Okay.